All right, Ian. There is a whole lot of smoke around this Rodgers to the Jets stuff. What's real? What's not?
Well, he's on the Packers now.
I don't care about that.
That is definitely real.
Yeah.
We don't know if he wants to come back to the Packers or come back to football, or whether he wants to be on another team. He's still trying to decide that. So that is step 2. We don't know if the Jets want him. That is step 3. Plus, if they do want him, it would be a $60 million cash charge for this year. Now, it's prorated over the next several years, so it doesn't hit the cap immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But it is extremely hefty number for 1 year. That is all the real things with Aaron Rodgers. Everything else, I would say, is conjecture, and we do not know.
Okay, I got you. So the bullet points, number 1, does he want to keep playing? He's not leaving $150 million on the table. So the answer for me is yes. Number 2, do the Jets want him? They'd be idiots if they don't. Number 3, do they have the money? They do. Woody's a billionaire. So there's no impediments here. We're good. Make it happen. What's the problem?
I would say if the Jets hired Nathaniel Hackett to lure Aaron Rodgers to New York,
do you think they did?
That would be a great mistake.
Do you think they did?
No.
No.
Because the Broncos did it. It didn't happen, and they ended up having a horrific season, and then everybody got fired.
But he was head coach. It's different as a coordinator, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Which part?
He's been pretty good as a coordinator. 1 year in Jacksonville, obviously a couple of years with Aaron Rodgers, but that was obviously with Aaron Rodgers. He was doing too much as the head coach in Denver, and it cost him a job after just one season, which is very rare, as you know. But bringing him to the Jets as a coordinator, doesn't that help him? I'm talking about Nathaniel Hackett now, irrespective of Aaron Rodgers. Doesn't that help him reestablish himself?
Yeah, I mean, for him personally, it gives him the opportunity to do that. I mean, I would sort of argue he probably would have reestablished himself better had he taken a year off. Like, historically, there's a lot more precedent to failed head coaches coming back after a year off and being odd coordinators again. Now, I'd say he puts himself in a difficult predicament. If he is not successful, then it is going to be a very, very uphill battle to get gainful employment at any high level in the NFL ever again.
Yeah. So
we saw Jay Gruden do that, was fired as a Commanders coach, was Jaguars OC, and still hasn't been back. That is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
So basically for Nathaniel Hackett, what he chose to do is go work as an offensive coordinator for $0 because he's not making any more money than he would have. He's just making $0 to be Jets OC. He's probably paying them essentially for the labor and for all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to be a coach this year. So that was his decision.
And let me ask you this. Don't you think on some level that the only way Joe Douglas can justify, and this does tie into Rodgers, justify bringing back Zach Wilson is if Rodgers is here to kind of obscure him and shield him from the anger from the fans? I don't think that you can bring back Wilson if Garoppolo's here or Carr, who's in his early. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it almost satisfies multiple masters. It puts the Jets on, if this happens, on a course to really be relevant and be in the mix to win something of import, and also to develop Wilson. It's like a perfect move for Joe.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because if you bring in Baker Mayfield would be one possible example, and then have Zach Wilson there. I mean, first of all, they probably would compete. Second of all, like, I think Zach Wilson's not going anywhere, at least through training camp anyway. Because why would he? You've already paid for him. Can I tell you one other thing about Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
He and Zach Wilson have a pretty good relationship.
Yeah. Oddly, right?
I know. Yep.
I mean, two like somewhat odd, super smart guys who sometimes rub people the wrong way and get all in their thoughts. Like, that actually makes a lot of sense. They're buddies.
Yeah.
I told a story on the Pat McAfee show of Zach Wilson Aaron Rodgers calling Zach to check on him. It was a Friday at 6:00 and he was still in the facility.
Yeah.
And Rodgers being like, "Can you get out of there? Like, go clear your brain and get out of there." So Rodgers has some sort of a mentorship going on with Zach Wilson. So if they brought Rodgers in, it wouldn't surprise me. And look, if let's say the Jets do decide to give a first round pick or whatever it's going to be for Aaron Rodgers, and which from the Green Bay side, it's a massive cap hit.
Yep.
$40 million. Massive, massive cap hit. And for the Jets, cash-wise, it's a ton, $60 million for 1 year. It's all a lot, and to me seems far-fetched. Possible, but far-fetched.
Yeah.
But if that happens, and if Aaron Rodgers leads the Jets deep into the playoffs, that is worth it.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
So I don't think it's going to happen, but I don't think it's impossible. And I would say it's worth exploring.
So you think he just stays in Green Bay or he retires?
My guess is he stays in Green Bay, but I truly do not know.
Yeah.
Because with Aaron Rodgers, like I gave up like 3 years ago trying to read his thoughts. It's too hard.
Yeah.
And they're too all over the place. Like,
I think
plus,
you're right.
He sort of deserves the opportunity to do what he chooses without people like me being like, well, here's what he kind of meant when he said that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, we're interpreting his words without really listening to what he's saying. And he doesn't really say that much. But I want to back up to what you said about Nathaniel Hackett being an incentive for Aaron Rodgers. Do they not have a good relationship?
No, they do. They do. I'm just saying, like, the problem is that one, Nathaniel Hackett doesn't run the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
He, ran the Broncos essentially along with the GM and couldn't get Aaron Rodgers because the Packers wouldn't trade him. I don't know that the Packers would be willing to trade him this year. I mean, Jordan Love is more viable, so I guess theoretically it would make sense. But last year they weren't. So if Denver hired him to get Rodgers, it obviously didn't work. It's scary to me to think of a team hiring a coach and saying, all right, now that we hired you, you're going to allow us to go get this guy. That's like 4 steps removed from reality. So like, I hope and what I believe is that Robert Saleh hired Nathaniel Hackett because he has been in his career at times a very good coordinator, is a veteran play caller, and will do a good job with whichever quarterback.
Yes, but and in the event that he doesn't, help you land Rodgers, he's an asset on his own merit. I totally agree with that.
Yes.
But no, I got you. I think that's a good way to look at it. Listen, I know that you're a man of information. I get it. You built your career on reporting, and when you report, it's different than what Teak and I do every day on the radio, where we just tell you what we think could happen, what we partially know. It's a different presentation. So I don't want to put you in a bad spot, but I have to. All right. Opening day, week 1, Jets. Who's the quarterback? Who's playing quarterback for the Jets?
I don't know, and I can't guess, but I will give you a couple options. I would say I need to know that the Packers are willing to trade Aaron Rodgers for that to even be an option. And that's the problem with like the Rodgers thing is fun, and I think your callers are going to have a blast. And I'm sure when I get off this, my brother's going to text me and say, are we getting Aaron Rodgers? I don't know that it's viable yet. I really don't. Now, they may try. I don't even know if they're going to try. I would imagine they will because Joe Douglas swings big, but I don't know that.
Oh, they're going to try.
I would say Jimmy Garoppolo is probably a better chance right now than Aaron Rodgers. And if that was the case, I think that would be pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean, pretty good if you want to win 10 games and go home in a wild card scenario. Yeah, pretty good in that regard. Sure.
You win 10 games and you're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You were in the playoffs.
You're better off. Just real quickly, why is Sean Payton not signing in? Why isn't he not a head coach? It seems like he might not be.
He might not be. I mean, he's in Arizona right now. He's talking to Cardinals brass. The Broncos seem like they're going in a different direction.
Yep.
The Panthers seem like they're going in a different direction. The Colts never talked to him, and the Texans never set up a second interview. He is a lot. He is very expensive. He would take a first-round draft pick and more to get him from the Saints. He would have to run everything. So when you're talking about general managers running searches, Arizona, Houston, Denver, the GMs would then hire him knowing there's a chance Payton could push to replace them.
Got it.
Like, that's hard.
It's complicated. It's not just we're going to get Sean Payton.
Sean is not for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, he is a great coach, but he is not for everyone. So that is why, as of now, going back to Fox seems like a really viable option.
All right, Ian. Appreciate it, buddy. Next time your brother texts you, if you don't want to tell him that Rodgers will be playing quarterback, tell him that we said it here on the Fan that Rodgers will be playing quarterback for the Jets. Tell him I said it.
I will tell him that. I will send him your way.
No, you won't, but thank you. Thank you for indulging me with that.
Take care, guys.
See you later, man.